show. That's right, Nash. Cue Danny. I heard that back there. So, hello, everybody. Hello. Welcome to One More with Danny Coleman. I'm Danny Coleman. And we're coming to you live tonight, once again, as always, from Monmouth Music, right here in the heart of downtown Red Bank, New Jersey, located at 30 Monmouth Street. They're also a sponsor of One More with Danny Coleman, as well as... You see these pastries? They're beautiful, aren't they? Antoinette's Boulangerie has provided us with these pastries. And our newest sponsor, and the people who provided that fabulous pregame meal out there, Mr. Pizza Slice, also located right here in Red Bank, as well as Antoinette's Boulangerie, which is next door. But I want to thank you all for tuning in to One More with Danny Coleman. If there's something you want us to do on this program, anything, suggestions or ideas that you may want to see come into your living room or laptop or cell phone, please email me at dcoleman.drice, D-R-I-C-E, dcoleman.drice@gmail.com. Again, it's dcoleman.drice@gmail.com. Or if you're interested in being a guest, or you think there's somebody who has something that would appeal to the masses by coming on this program, same thing, dcoleman.drice@gmail.com. Before we get started, I want to say something here. I have advanced rock and roll training, Nash, as you know, right? I just completed, last night at 11 p.m., 36 hours of no sleep. I stayed awake. That's right. Congratulations to me, right? No big deal if you're in, like, say, the military. But 36 hours of no sleep because Mario and I had a gig on Saturday evening. We did the gig. I was done, and I drove to Syracuse, New York, because my son, on Father's Day, was in his first Ironman triathlon. I'm very proud of the kid, and I want everybody to know it at home. I'm very proud of my son. I want to thank him and our family that was there and friends, and they're going up there to support him. It was probably, seeing him cross the finish line was probably the best Father's Day gift I could have. And I just want to say that I'm proud of him. And then I had to drive home. So I got up at 10 o'clock Saturday morning, and I got home at 11 p.m. Sunday evening. No sleep. I don't know how I did that. But this is why, Frank, I need a tour bus.
Don't we all, right?
We all need a tour bus. But once again, welcome to One More with Danny Coleman. I'm Danny Coleman, and my guest this evening is this man sitting right here in the middle, Frank Lettieri.
Yep.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Right.
And
you brought along with you
Mr. James Harold, and we are a part of Dust of Days. That's the group name.
Okay.
So, yeah. So we're happy to be here. We appreciate you having us.
That is fantastic. So you do double duty. You came to me, actually.
Yeah. Yep.
Was in Lambertville on Rock On Radio.
Yep.
The radio program, and as a member of the Paper Jets.
Yep. I'm the drummer for the Paper Jets.
You are the drummer for the Paper Jets. And in this project, you're playing guitar?
So this one, I do most of the writing.
Okay.
And I play guitar. I love the drums. Drums are my first instrument. But yeah, so I play the drums on the record and guitar. And along with some other guys who couldn't be here tonight, they helped out. We actually went out to Minnesota to record the record. It's not out yet.
Why Minnesota?
Well, like we were talking about earlier, live recorded at Pachyderm Recording Studios, and Nirvana actually recorded there too, and that was the main reason to get them.
Okay.
They recorded in utero there. So Nick out at Pachyderm was awesome. They had just reopened. I don't even know if they were officially opened at that point.
I don't think so.
But contacted him. He was like, yeah, come on out. So we flew out. There was five or six of us. I think 6 of us. And yeah, we were there 3 days, recorded every day, and got the majority of the record done.
Where'd you finish it?
Finished at my house.
Okay.
So I have a small studio at my house. So we tracked all the drums there to get the sound of that room.
The sound that you wanted.
Yeah, the room is amazing.
Okay.
And it was just a phenomenal experience.
Okay. Now, you were also part with the Paper Jets
Mm-hmm.
of the 30th anniversary of Making Waves
Yep.
show. And right before. I think, matter of fact, it was before the day after. When you were on my radio program, you had just done a big show with the Paper Jets at John and Peters, right?
Yes.
It was the day after.
I think it was.
Or the week before. Which one?
Your show's Sunday, right?
Yeah.
So it would have been the day before.
The day before, right?
Yeah.
How'd that go?
It was great.
Oh, good.
It was good. John and Peters is always fun to play.
Oh, yeah, quite an interesting. Have you ever played John and Peters?
yeah, many times.
Oh.
Depending on how tall you are, you got to watch you don't hit your head.
I have no trouble in there, but there are others.
Yeah.
So, okay, so again, the name of your band is?
We're called Dust of Days.
Dust of Days.
Yeah.
It's quite interesting, Frank.
Yeah, it's been a side project of mine since I was probably 18 years old.
Okay.
And
Why the name?
You know, there was a band, you may remember them, they were called Jars of Clay.
Yeah.
There was
actually.
I liked a lot of the records, and there was a lyric that talked about the dust of days. And I thought it was very compelling. And, in terms of imagery, you kind of, every day you accumulate this dust and these, whether it's emotional or, actual dust, but mainly emotional baggage.
Decomposing right in front of your eyes.
Yeah. So that was
aging rapidly.
Yeah, that was kind of I was like, that's cool. So I checked and see if anybody had it, and they didn't have it. So I just scooped it up.
Okay. And how do you fit into this equation, James Harold?
I've been friends with Frank for about over 10 years and a lifelong accompanist. You say that right? On guitar. And I was in the Jets for about 3 months.
Yes, little known fact.
Yeah. And I don't know, he just kind of called up a bunch of friends, and I was absolutely willing to go. So
now, are you the one constant along with Frank in Dust of Days, and then you guys interject different players, or?
Jim's been there since pretty much the very beginning. We went to college together, and we met at the radio station, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay.
We did college.
Right.
Yeah.
And where was that again?
Rider University.
Rider University.
Mm-hmm. 107.7.
That's right. The Bronx.
The Bronx.
Yep.
So we met there, and I remember walking home not home, but it was just walking from like the cafeteria to the student center back to the radio station one night, and Jim was asking how I was, how I could write the songs that I write, and I was thinking the same thing about him, and because he's a phenomenal writer.
So there's a mutual admiration society going on there. Okay.
So then I went on tour. I got selected to go on a tour of the West Coast
cool.
in 2013. And I asked Jim if he would do it, and he played on all my previous records.
Now you say the tour. What was the tour?
So it was a tour called the Extreme Tour, and it was basically bringing music to places that wouldn't normally get music, like smaller, really like rural cities. They set up the stage, and it's usually outdoors.
Okay.
So they set it up, have a whole full-blown PA system, and then it's kind of an outreach too for troubled youth.
Oh, okay.
So it's pretty cool. When we just traveled, it was kind of like one of those, you just send it off and pray that it works out.
How long did that last?
I was there 3 weeks, and then Jim had to go back
I was
after
there for
2 because
2.
of job restrictions, I think.
Yeah.
Darn jobs getting in the way, aren't they?
Yeah.
But it was great.
Death to the day job.
Yeah. We saw, we toured in Barstow. Is that what it was?
Yeah, Barstow.
Yeah, Barstow. And Route 66.
There you
Yeah,
go.
saw some tweakers. But it was interesting. And we saw a bunch of other places in California. Got to swim in the Colorado River.
Nice.
We had, actually, fun fact, we had dinner with Marlon Brando's son.
On purpose, or
on purpose,
you
yeah.
stalk him?
So one of the other guys that we were on tour with, his name's Gallery Cat. His name's Angelo, but his group is Gallery Cat. And he somehow knew him. He did some work for him and called him. The guy, Miko Brando is Marlon Brando's son's name. He said, if you're ever in LA, give me a call. He was with us at the time, so we called him. We met up for Mexican in Santa Monica. Yeah. And then he invited us to stay over at his house, which we unfortunately couldn't do.
Oh, that's a shame.
But he told us some stories about his dad and Michael Jackson as well, because he was really good friends with Michael.
Okay.
He's actually the guy who put Michael's hair out when it caught fire on the Pepsi commercial. So sorry
There's a
for
claim to
rambling.
fame, huh?
Yeah.
My dad's Marlon Brando, but I put out Michael Jackson's hair when it was on fire.
Yeah, nobody else would do anything. Like, nobody knew what to do, so he just went over, and Michael said, I guess that makes us friends now. And Michael kept him They were friends the rest of his
Oh,
life.
no kidding.
Yeah.
Now, you said extreme tour. I was thinking, would you go out with Nuno Betancourt or
No,
something?
no. No. But, yeah. It was cool. It was cool.
Nice. Very cool.
Some definite random experiences, though.
Well,
Never thought we'd be
I'm
having
sure,
dinner with Miko
without
and
a
Brando.
doubt. How long did that dinner last?
It was like a few hours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Definitely surreal.
Right?
Yeah.
Now, I did a gig with Al Stewart. Year of the Cat, Al Stewart, you know what I'm talking about? He came through my area, and we were talking about it when I interviewed him to publicize the show, do a write-up. He said, "You're a percussion guy. Why don't you bring your stuff down, and we'll do a sound check. If I like it, you can gig with me." So I did like 5 songs with Marlon Brando, with Al Stewart.
Yeah.
And after the sound check, we went right next door to this diner. I mean, it's literally, they share the same parking lot. We walked next door to a diner, and Matt Story's Diner.
Oh, it's a Matt Stories. Okay.
walked
Did you have
next
the
door-
bread?
Right? Yeah, of course.
Yeah, you got to get the bread, right?
We walked next door to Matt Story's, and I'm sitting at this table with Al Stewart. Nobody knew who he was. Nobody looked at nobody, you know, and he's telling stories from the road. And I'm thinking, somebody's got to overhear this guy. Somebody's.
I would have known who he was.
You definitely would've.
Nobody approached him. Nothing.
He probably likes that, though.
Yeah, maybe, I'm sure, but yeah, it was nice,
Yeah.
especially since he bought dinner.
There you go. There you go.
But yeah, you know, but it's funny how, you know, they are pretty much just regular Joes, I guess, for the most part. Once you get them out of where they're at,
Yeah.
you know.
We were going to go to Pink's, the hot dog stand, you know, the famous hot dog place in L.A., because his dad just had a hot dog named after him.
Oh,
I think
no
it was
kidding.
called the Brando, right? Something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. But we wound up going for Mexican.
For
so.
Mexican. Oh, there you go. Excuse me. If you're just clicking on, this is One More with Danny Coleman. I'm Danny Coleman. That's Frank Lettieri. That's James Harold. And so, talk to me about Dust of Days. Do you guys perform a lot? I mean,
We have always been very selective.
Okay.
And
why is that?
That's a good question. I don't know. Really, yeah, really. Just we have 3 records out now. Well,
Okay.
2 records out. One to come out on August 4th, and you know, it's always been very much therapy. Like it started as therapy for me, like musical therapy. And I don't know if same thing. I don't know if that's why you got into music or not, Jim.
No, for women, but the therapy came later.
Because of the women.
Yeah, probably. So yeah, that's we do play. We usually try to do bulk shows like the tour where you go out for 2 or 3 weeks and then. But we haven't done anything recently, mainly because we're recording the record.
So, you just said something I find very interesting. Without getting into personal detail.
Sure. No, you.
You divulge whatever you want,
Yeah.
but I'm not going to prod you on this. Therapy.
Sure.
What were you escaping that you needed musical therapy?
I don't know if it was escaping as much as just an outlet to vent, emotions.
Okay.
My dad wasn't the nicest individual a lot of the times. So the drums were a perfect outlet for that. You get to just, hit things.
Take out your aggressions.
Yeah. And then I discovered songwriting and realized that I guess it's kind of like journaling, but in a slightly different context. And then, writing lyrics, then I would put music to it, and it kind of just worked. Now, this last record, I did the music first and didn't write the lyrics until pretty much the day of, or whenever,
Okay.
Yeah, so, but it's just very therapeutic, like a release. It's very much a release. And it tends to be darker stuff, too, that I'm drawn to. Like, the happier stuff is not as
I saw a thing
attractive.
on Facebook. I can't remember. It was a musician that gave this whole explanation about creativity and creative people. How we are all creative people, but only some of us can create. And that was and what he meant by that was exactly what you just said. When you write a song, that's why people have to be. Nobody ever writes a song when they're happy.
Yeah.
They always write a song from some event that happened in their lives that has taken them to usually a dark place.
Mm.
You know, or some sort of event in the realm,
Sure.
around the world that has taken them to a dark place.
Yeah.
That has evoked this feeling and these emotions that you have to get out.
Yeah.
And people who don't create keep all that inside, as opposed to musicians and poets and painters and writers and authors. You know, they bring it out.
Yeah.
Because it just has to get out of them, like a. I think he compared it to the thing in Alien, you know, type of thing, where it's got to come out of you, otherwise you're going to explode.
Yeah.
And you know, a lot of people do that. I mean, everybody who's come through the doors, I know in my radio program, I ask that question of a lot. You know,
Yeah.
when do you do your best songwriting? And everybody's like, well, you know, usually when I'm mad, or usually when I've been jilted, or usually, you know, I had one girl who's now very successful. When she first came to me, she was a teenager. She said, well, in English class.
Yeah.
You know, so, you know, people tend to do that. And most of them also say that they do their best writing, or their favorite song came together in like 20 minutes.
Yeah.
You know, it just started and they couldn't stop. They just couldn't write fast enough to keep up with the ideas that were just flowing from
Yeah. That was actually one of the songs off the record Jim actually played piano on. And it was a song that was written in a Quick Check parking lot.
There you go.
Within 5 minutes. And I kid you not. Yeah, my grandpa had just passed away, and that was the latest record is called Analog Mindbender, and that's kind of it deals with death, it deals with the afterlife, it deals with domestic abuse and all of these kind of serious things. But that song was kind of the oddball because it was piano based. The rest of the record just guitar and drums bass, you know, a heavier sounding record. But I actually wrote it on my phone with GarageBand because it had a piano, and I don't play piano. But I was able to put it together, and I like the chord progression.
I had an artist come on my program, Billy Williams, the Williams boy, he goes by.
Okay.
He come in, I just wrote this tune on the way here at a traffic light. He did the same thing. It was on GarageBand.
Yeah.
It was called Zombie Dinosaur or something. Like, I don't remember what the heck he called it.
Yeah.
And was good enough quality where we could play it over
He
the
just
air.
played it right.
I was like, are you kidding me?
Talk about fast turnaround.
Right? Him and I still laugh about that to this day. Okay, so all right, do you have websites for any of this before? How
Yeah.
can we find you guys before we go any further?
All the usual suspects, you know, but the website is dustofdays.com. And then it's just Facebook /dustofdays, and Instagram is dustofdays. I don't really tweet much, although I have to get better at that.
As I discovered with the
Yeah.
paper jets.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know. It's something that always makes me feel weird. Like, oh, who cares about what what I'm doing? But
Gotcha. All right, James.
Oh, you can find me through his websites.
Okay.
Yeah,
But-
I got to build one.
he's also he has a side project of his own called The Arrivist.
Yeah.
And if you're looking for ambient, just
Piano.
Yeah.
Yeah. It didn't rock the charts, but
it's
Well,
a
you
wonderful.
mentioned you play piano. Is that your primary instrument?
guitar
is
is.
second?
Yeah,
Okay.
I wouldn't even consider myself a piano player, but
Okay.
yeah, I did a record last year that Frank recorded of all just instrumental piano.
You can just put
music.
it on, and just kind of it's like a late night record, like a 1 a.m. type of thing, or midnight, and just if you're driving, and you just kind of melt into it. It's great.
Whoa.
Yeah.
How many tracks?
7, and it was all improv too.
Yeah, that was
Yeah,
the
it was
beauty
on
of
a
it.
Steinway from the 1800s, and
Oh, no
yeah,
kidding.
it was the whole record was written
Where
and
did you
released
come across a Steinway of that age?
at this studio in Bordentown. So
Oh, yeah? Which one?
yeah, Riverview.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
I have a buddy it's his piano.
Yeah.
That's where I live, Warrentown.
Oh, cool.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. I lived there for a while.
See?
Yep.
Yeah.
What do you think of that?
What's that?
Bordentown.
Bordentown? Yeah, yeah.
Great.
Actually, they're one of 2 places in the country right now that are pressing vinyl. There's
Really?
a business that presses vinyl over there.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
So, yeah, we'll talk.
Yeah.
We'll talk, but right now, we're going to talk about Mr. Pizza Slice, Nash.
Oh,
Nash is the glue that holds this show together. I haven't
Yeah.
said that in a couple
Well,
weeks.
your whole crew is awesome.
You like
so,
it? All right,
yeah.
here. Well, then, you know what? Here's to the crew.
That's right.
This crew's for you.
This crew's for you.
It's because I don't have Bud. Mr. Pizza Slice is a Red Bank institution with a new vibe. For over 45 years, Steve operated Mr. Pizza Slice right here on Monmouth Street in Red Bank. The new owners have 100% kept the original pizza called Steve's Original Pie, as well as the signature Italian hot dog and french fries. New additions include pizzas with various toppings that can be ordered by the slice, hot and cold sandwiches, and smaller appetizer dishes. We've kept a lot of Steve's feeling there, and the classic video game machines and added delivery services, longer hours, and even now, Sunday hours. Mr. Pizza Slice right here on Monmouth Street in Red Bank, New Jersey. And once again, I want to thank them for the
The
pre-show meal.
I'm gonna
We
have
had
some
a-
later
What
too.
did we have? That we had a margarita pie. We had a plain pie. Hope you don't want plain. That's gone.
No.
I went out there. There was like one slice left. But I ate the margarita.
yeah, that was good.
I like that stuff.
Yeah.
Good. What's your favorite food, James?
Favorite food?
Food, sure.
Mexican
this is-
food.
yeah.
Mexican food?
Yes,
So-
any and all. I don't discriminate.
No? Yeah.
No.
Favorite type of Mexican food?
Oh man, right now I could go for a taco,
Taco?
chorizo.
Ah, chorizo. I see. Okay. And you? What do you like to eat on tour? With Marlon Brando's kid?
so when we were in California, we couldn't really find. I'm a pizza guy. I love pizza.
Okay.
And we couldn't find. It was California. You know, pizza is not their strong suit.
You're not gonna find good
Mexican,
pizza.
however, is. But
Yeah.
we ate a lot of In-N-Out burger.
Ah.
And yeah, that was.
Amazing.
Yeah, it was.
My one of the magazines I write for is called The Rock Rag, and it's based out of the Burbank area.
Okay.
And every now and then, my editor comes east, and her and I will go to a show, or you know. And one night, her and I, we were actually guests because she used to be a staff photographer for Tedeschi Trucks.
Oh, nice.
Okay, so we got invited to some party in the old CBGBs. And there's only like 150 of us, but they gave away free vodka drinks
Okay.
because it was sponsored by a vodka company. So we go there, and they changed the time that media could get in from 7:30 to 8:30. So now we had an hour to kill, so we went across the street to the bar. Then we came over there, we drank there. Then it was done, we went back across the street to the bar. And she looks at me and she says, "I'm dying for a good greasy burger." I said, "What, they don't have burgers in California or what?" She says, "Not like greasy New York burgers. Let's go."
Really? Okay.
We walk like 5 doors down the street. The best burger in New York.
What was that? Which one was that?
The best burger in New York. It was on
I figured, yeah.
whatever street that was. I can't remember.
So no Shake Shack then.
No.
Okay.
No. But I just found it kind of funny that.
Yeah, the best.
And it was right there. But the fact that she had to come east, it's fed with bull. So how'd you two find?
We met in college. And
You as well, right?
yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
Rider
So-
University.
Yeah, Brian
was
was.
in college then.
It was university.
We're not that old.
Whoa. Wow.
Brian was program director, and I was general manager.
That I remember.
Yeah. So, and then Jim was just. I don't
I
remember.
was just a student. I was a commuter.
Yeah, we were all commuters.
Yeah.
Well, where'd
Except
you
for
grow up?
Brian.
In the Hamilton, New Jersey area. I moved
Okay.
around a lot as a kid, but eventually settled around that area.
Okay, that's where I
Yeah.
grew up, Hamilton Township.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and we.
So you should commute from Hamilton
Yeah,
Township. It's a 15-minute ride.
I know, right?
We found out that our families were from the same area up in Pennsylvania, up like in
Wilkes-Barre.
Wilkes-Barre.
I was just there last night.
Oh, really?
On my trek to and from
Oh, through,
Syracuse.
yeah. Okay. Yeah.
What town?
They were actually quite some time.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Which is near
Yeah.
Scranton, Wilkes-Barre, up that way.
Mm-hmm.
That's funny.
So you've had Abe's then, Abe's hot dogs, and
No,
No,
actually,
yeah.
I've never.
Well, if you get up
I've
there-
heard of them, but
Yeah,
I've
yeah.
never had them. Yeah, it's so funny. You know, driving up there last night or Sunday night, Saturday night. I don't remember track of time.
it's a heck of a drive.
Yeah, Yeah, wasn't that bad. 4
Yeah.
hours. Made it up there. Of course, it was 20 minutes to 1 in the morning when I hit the road.
Yeah. Yeah.
Got there at 4:45 or whatever it was. And-
Syracuse is a nice.
Oh yeah, it
area.
was beautiful little town, beautiful little area, great park where
Yeah.
the whole thing took place. So, excuse me.
Sure.
When you write your material, because you've started to take on a little more vocalization with the Paper Jets, right?
Yeah. In terms of like arranging stuff.
As far as singing too, aren't you singing some of their stuff?
I did at one point. Brian would write songs and be like, "Yeah, you should sing this one." This latest record, we didn't do that as much. We actually have our bass player took on this some of the background vocals and stuff.
Okay.
But yeah, it just goes by the song, really. If the song calls for it, then we'll go for it. Because
But you
Brian and I
sing-
have different voices. Yeah.
Yeah, you sing all the leads on yours, right?
Yes. Yeah. And I'm not really a fan of backing vocals as much. Most of my stuff doesn't have backing vocals.
You know, I think.
No offense to people who like backing vocals.
You know,
That's-
everybody said in my age group, the old guys, when it was Rider College. I just want you to know. You know, everybody who are now probably between the ages of 45, that might be a stretch, and 65, or 50 and 65, they were influenced by one thing. You want to take a guess at what that
I'm
was?
guessing the Beatles.
The Beatles on Ed Sullivan, right? But the only problem with that is they created a generation of people who think they have to have these complex 3, 4, 5-part harmonies. You know, now don't get me. Look,
Sure.
if they're done right, they sound fantastic. You
Yeah.
know, and they can be beautiful. There were a lot of bands during the 1970s, like Three Dog Night,
Oh yeah.
and you know, the Looking Glass, and you know, these bands that use these harmonies.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
The Eagles.
the Eagles. Yeah, there's a prime example. I mean, Seven Bridges Road. Yeah, come on, phenomenal.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of times people beat that to death.
Yeah. If it's not there, you can't force it.
And I think a lot of artists, especially today, where everybody seems to, you know, with the advent of, you know, home recording studios.
Yeah.
As I've said before, Joe Sarasano, who knows a thing or two about recording, considering he was it for voiceover work between 84 and 90. You know, his commercials that he did could be heard on the Super Bowl, and
Yeah.
he was the voice of Miller Lite.
Ah.
You know, he said even the kid that bags my groceries has a home recording studio and can record something now.
That's funny.
And you know, when you turn around and you have that, everybody thinks they can get famous off of one tune. They all want to be one-hit wonders, or they all want to record themselves doing some cover and put it on YouTube. You know, so somebody will discover me. Somebody will discover me. You know,
I guess that's how Justin Bieber, got discovered. I think. So
All YouTube.
yeah, all YouTube.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
yeah. So you know, I mean, we're on YouTube.
Yeah.
You know, hello YouTube. We're on YouTube, but the point is, how many people have been discovered via that route? So
And-
why
and
don't you
you-
just concentrate on making music instead of wanting to be the next big thing?
Yeah, I was gonna say the same thing. Like, if you focus on what you love, and if that's what you love, then that's great. But don't force it, and don't, just do what comes naturally to you, and don't try to fit it into a mold of, because there's a formula, and the formula does work, but you don't need to really follow that. A lot of the greatest stuff is not that formula.
True, and that's. I don't know how much of it's being good or being lucky.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to be good in order to get lucky, I guess. Do you know what I mean? If somebody walks in my kid used to work for Halo Pub over on
Oh,
Nottingham Way in Hamilton Township, across from St. Craig's Church.
Yep.
Sunday afternoon, by himself, he's in there. There's one customer at the counter. All of a sudden, this guy comes in asking for directions. and the customer almost fell over. And my son's looking at him thinking, I know that guy. Why do I know that guy? And then he talked. My son's like, I know who that is. And it was Bruce Springsteen. He was trying to get to Princeton for something, and
Sure.
he kind of got off 95 too early. 195 too early.
Yeah.
My son's like, Dad, I
just-
just gave Bruce Springsteen directions.
He's
What?
everywhere.
Yeah.
I think we ran into him when we were getting lunch.
But with Brando's kid?
Yeah.
But, that's not going to happen every day.
Right.
But if it does, and they see you and you're no good, they're not going to look twice. So you've got
Right.
to be good at what you do. And
Yeah.
I just wish a lot more young artists would hone their craft. They've got the Facebook stuff down,
Oh yeah.
sort of, But how important is marketing to you guys? Speaking of which,
I mean, I think
I'd take me out of that question. I have no.
marketing.
see, and that's the problem.
Exactly.
No, it is. It
Let
really
others
is.
do it. Yeah.
Yeah, it really is. You can't. It's because it's a vicious cycle.
Yeah.
So you can't complain nobody comes to your gigs if nobody knows about your gigs. And you can't say to the bar owner or the restaurant owner, well, you didn't advertise.
Right.
Well, neither did you.
Yeah.
One of my favorite comebacks is when our bass player in a band I was in one time, the guy looks and says, well, what kind of following do you have? I don't know. What kind of customers do you have? If you're looking at me to bring everybody in for you to make money,
Yeah.
help me out here.
Yeah. I agree.
And it's got to be a partnership. And a lot of younger artists don't understand that, I don't think.
Yeah. Quid pro quo. I think marketing is important. It shouldn't be the end all be all. Like the music, I think, should be the priority. But without marketing, it's kind of you'd have the music, but nobody would be able to hear it.
Okay. You're going to get, now I'm going to respectfully disagree with you there on
Okay.
that. Because there's a lot of, we'll use Justin Bieber as an example.
Sure.
He's terrible. He's terrible.
He is a good drummer. I've seen him play drums.
And
so.
that may be fine, but he didn't sell himself as a drummer.
Right.
So was Bruno Mars. Bruno Mars is a fantastic drummer.
Oh yeah. I mean, that guy's an entertainer, for sure.
But he sold himself another way. But he did it through marketing. Lady Gaga is a marketing genius.
Yeah.
Genius. She used shock value combined with talent,
Yeah, and I think that's the thing. They all have talent. Like, there's no question. You can't deny that. They are talented people. But they also think there is a lot of talented people out there that will never get heard.
And that's for various reasons.
Right.
I mean, you sat there, you want to let the music do the talking for you, and that's great, as it should be. But, you could do that by inviting people to sit on your patio.
Sure.
You could do house concerts, 25, 30 people in your living room.
Yeah.
But if you want to get your music out there, you've got to market it. You've got to market yourself. You've got to go to a restaurant or a bar or a coffee house, and you've got to make new fans. You've got to bring them into your fold.
Yeah. No, I think Macklemore is a perfect example of that. I mean, he wasn't signed, at least not to my knowledge, and he went on to sell how many millions of copies of that record. I mean, it was unbelievable in a time. And Adele recently, still selling physical copies, is unbelievable. But Macklemore did it on his own. He just came up.
There, years ago, you could get. There's a band out today that does that. They're signed, but they're not marketed. I'm a huge fan of Flogging Molly.
Oh, sure.
Them guys have been touring for 20 years, 15, 20 years, and they're.
Yeah.
They sell out the 2,000 and 3,000 seat arenas or clubs.
Yeah.
And they're a blast. They're not hurting. They can tour. They've been to the Soviet
Sure.
Union. But you don't hear them on the radio.
No, they built up their fan base and their core, and people will travel for them. Kind of like the Grateful, the Deadheads.
Yeah.
Or
Look
Dave
at Rush.
Matthews. Yeah.
Rush is in the Rock and
yeah.
Roll Hall of Fame, and they never got airplay until Tom Sawyer.
Yeah.
Other permanent waves here and there, but Tom Sawyer busted them open, and that was like their 5th or 6th album.
Yeah. Have you seen their documentary?
Yes.
It's really good.
Yeah, it's good stuff. They're very intelligent.
Oh yeah.
Very intelligent men. Well, who's your favorite artist, James?
Bob Dylan.
Bob Dylan.
Yeah.
Old guy.
Yeah, he was the start of it all. From
Okay,
there,
why?
just I don't know. I mean, I grew up listening to, and I still do, like Van Halen, Aerosmith. Like some things just never leave you.
Classic rock. Sure.
Yeah, but they were like middle school, and then Dylan was high school or college. That was it, and just really opened up that whole world of music, folk music, alternate tunings, just.
Richard Thompson.
Yeah, Richard Thompson, Roy Buchanan. I stole a lot from those guys. Rycooter. So,
There you go.
but yeah, but if you could just trace it all back, it all started with Bob Dylan. So,
Bob Dylan.
Yeah.
Did you go to Pacadano's thing over to Count Basie last month? Bob Fest?
No, I'm going to see him in the flesh next
Oh, you're gonna go
Saturday.
see Dylan?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. So.
Where's he performing?
In Kingston, New York.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm. So.
Have you ever seen him before?
Oh yeah, many times.
Yeah?
Many times.
Were you able to understand him, or is it in the?
I can. Yeah, we got a thing. We got a thing.
There's
Yeah.
a little translation
Yeah.
there. Like one of them phones that you pick up.
Mhm.
Listen, excuse me, I speak Dylan.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, he influenced an entire generation. Yes, Matt. Oh, okay. I thought he was going to give me something from the chat room. Came over. Not only did he give me the finger dash, but he gave me 4 fingers. 4. Dylan, I mean, has influenced generations since the 60s. So, which is kind of cool that. Well, you just mentioned nothing but classic rockers. So.
I don't really listen to too much new music.
Okay.
I do, but it just doesn't move me. I mean, for the same reason you guys were talking about before, I feel like everybody just wants to be heard and be famous, and for me, I'm not finding much depth and resonance in a lot of the music.
In the lyrics or the music.
Well, just in general, even the way it sounds. So I just pick and choose. I mean, there's a lot of really good bands out there. I really like Deer Hunter, and Beach House is pretty cool, but like, it just doesn't hit me. Maybe I'm getting older too, but it just doesn't hit me the way.
I was talking about this. I'm trying to think of who it was with. Might have been Gilbert Gottfried.
Okay.
Yeah, it was Gilbert Gottfried. We were talking about certain comedy routines that have stood the test of time and comics that have been around. Now, you think about him, a guy like Gilbert Gottfried. He came up that in the 80s there with him, Louis Anderson, Bobcat Goldthwait, Bob Nelson, and Rich Scheidler, and the list could just go on and on. Ellen DeGeneres. They all came up in that stretch probably from 1979, 80 through maybe the middle of 85, 86. And they were a huge influence. And some of their comedy routines, people are still reciting today. But there were no bands. There's no music out there today that I think has the staying power of an Eric Clapton or the Rolling Stones or a Led Zeppelin.
It will. It's just different. I think it's publicized differently.
Well, and granted, what I'm still listening to, people, his age are not listening to.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
just
saying?
You have to sift more, I feel, because there's just everything's
white
streaming,
noise.
everything's, but there's some stuff that resonates. And
But does it have staying power?
Yeah,
That's the
when time
question.
passes, when enough time passes, some things will just stand out.
I think a lot of it is also the Claptons of the world and the Lennon, the McCartneys. It was fresh, like that had never been done before, and now it's kind of finding a new way to present music to people when it's been the same. Like those songs, that catalog has been around for 50 years,
Right.
maybe a little more.
But just the fact that some of these guys, like Clapton, he's 70 years old.
Yeah.
He's still touring because people want to hear it.
Yeah.
Granted, they're, 50-something, 60-year-old, 70-year-old.
And the high school guitar player who has the poster on his wall.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But there's a market for it. And I don't know. I being a radio guy and a musician, I try to listen to that stuff, and I just can't. There's nothing that really hits me and says, wow. There's a lot of one-hit wonders out there.
Sure.
But nothing really, grabs hold of me and says, wow, take this with you for decades.
Yeah.
But now, you're a musician since when? Was there influences in your household?
Well, I started
Parents,
playing.
grandparents?
I started playing the guitar. Didn't take to that. That was probably around 9 years old, and then I found the drums. My mom rented me a drum kit at the age of 14,
Nice.
freshman year or 14 or 15 in high school.
Of high school,
Yeah,
right.
freshman year in high school, and it was game over at that point. So.
Well, you eat these pastries,
Yes,
it'll be
these
game
can no
over.
longer
That's right.
be go-
Antoinette Boulangerie specializes in creating delicate and sophisticated works of art using only the highest quality ingredients. Located at 32 Monmouth Street in the heart of downtown Red Bank, they're a fully operational bakery with all of the baking done on premises daily. In addition to the handmade variety of croissants and Danish, Antoinette's offers a dizzying array of traditional French pastries, macaroons, cookies, and savory treats. Just if you look at them too long, you stand up, you'll
I've
fall
been trying
over.
to
It's
avoid
like the
that,
dizzy
yeah.
bat race.
Yeah.
Dizzying array.
They've been calling my name the whole time. So.
And I want to thank them, and you're more than welcome to answer anytime you
I
want.
would-
Eat
yeah.
now during the show if you want. Go ahead.
I will hold off until after,
'Cause people
and then
might-
I will take all of them.
You know, if you eat it now, people might you might get some stuck in your beard. and
Yeah,
you
yeah,
Get home and
it's
say,
a-
"Oh my God, I got that crap stuck in my beard."
Yeah. It happened to me with the French fries. But no, I'm just
See,
teasing.
that's good. It's the food saver.
Yeah.
Right? Find them at AntoinetteBoulangerie.com. They, I want to thank them, Antoinette's, very much so, because they provide the pastries you see for the post-game meal. Right, Nash?
Yeah,
The
right.
post-game
Absolutely.
meal. And they also provide us with coffee and cream and sugar, and they take good care of us here at OneMore with Danny Coleman. Shameless plug. See how it's done?
I see how it's marketing.
Marketing. So you were, your mom bought you a drum kit. Or
Yeah, she
a drum
rented it.
kit.
Yeah, because I had tried keys, I tried guitar, and I don't know, maybe I just wasn't
what
ready.
made you want to be a musician, though?
I had found music when the first musical memory I had was of Jefferson Starship and the Beach Boys. And I don't know. I had
Together
like
at once? In
No,
some
no.
bizarre dream, or
I don't know how it was. I loved the song "We Built This City," and I know a lot of
Okay.
people hate that song, but as a kid, I loved it.
There was a song off of that album that I actually enjoyed, and I
Yeah.
used to play it. I love the drum part.
yeah.
Rock and roll is good time music.
Okay, I haven't heard that record in probably a few.
I think it's off that.
Yeah, a couple decades, but.
So go ahead. I'm sorry.
But yeah, so that was. I was like, oh, it just kind of started the wheels turning, and then I had a Fisher Price record player. I don't know if you had one. Too.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it was like a 45,
Mm.
and did a little scratching on it, but, but yeah, and then when I hit, I don't know, probably like 4th or 5th grade, like there was that '90s alternative boom, and I was hearing stuff that just blew my mind. I remember hearing Dookie. I remember hearing Nirvana. Green Day's Dookie was huge
Right.
in '94, and just being incredibly attracted to it because that I was just drawn in, and all the music during that, and it was a brief time period. It was only about maybe 3-4 years, I think, that it lasted. From maybe 92, 91 to 96 ish, where it started to dwindle away, and then bubblegum started taking over the pop
Again.
because that was all pop music, like that was on pop radio. So I would just listen every night, to the radio station and tape. I'd tape the songs, and it would always just be so infuriating when the DJ would talk over the beginning of the song. Yeah.
Yeah. Hey. Yeah, it's funny. I remember for me it was an 8-track.
Oh, sure.
You wait for a song to come on the radio, and then you'd hit the record button on an 8-track,
Yeah.
and then the DJ would start talking. No!
And I get it now why they talk, but back then, you just wanted to hear the music,
Yeah, right.
or when they wouldn't tell you what the song was.
Oh, I hate that too. Oh, that drives me nuts.
Yeah, but now you have Shazam. I mean, there's been a lot of good developments. So
You
Shazam
know
is
what's
great.
drives me even crazier is when I used to get in a car, and you're in the middle of 10 in a row.
Yeah.
And then it was like song number 10.
Yeah.
Oh. Then there's like 6 minutes of commercials.
Sure.
But well, who do you listen to now?
I still listen to a lot of the stuff that I listened to back when I discovered music. Also went back to the classic rock era, but also listened to a lot of the bands that I guess, our peers. I love the Vaughns. Low Light's great. There's a lot of it's a great scene in Asbury Park right now, and in New Jersey, really, with a lot of talented bands. Miko Brando as well. A buddy of mine.
Named his band. That's
Yep.
I'm
And
in
Jim's
that
in it.
band.
You're in that band.
Yes. Yeah.
Well, who do you listen to, James? Who do you listen to now besides Bob
Right now,
Dylan?
like newer music.
Yeah, or whoever, whatever.
I haven't really been listening to too much music recently, but there's a guy out of California who's really cool, and I'm obsessed with his latest record. It's called The Demonstration by a guy named Drab Majesty. It's really, really cool. It's like this 80s synth, new wave, goth. It's really cool.
Now, where do you go to find a guy like that? How do you find him?
I was just flipping through the radio, and I heard this song on 88.5, and I really liked the chords and the phrasing, because I was like, ooh, that's something I would do. So I just Shazammed him and got the album, and just been listening to it nonstop. So
There's also a really cool app called Discover with just an R at the end, no E. And you put in the Eagles or whatever it may be, and it shows up, and then in a circle, it gives you other bands that are related. And then if you touch one of them, it expands it. And it's all interactive, and you could, find different bands
Different
that way
groups
too,
that
which
way?
is pretty cool, yeah.
Yeah, see, when I was a kid, you had to go to a record store. You
That's-
heard something on the radio. It's like,
Yeah.
hey, let me go check that out. You go down to the record
And
store.
that's another thing, like I think when I was a kid, it was the same thing. You had the amount of money for, say, one record, and you made a good decision, or if you didn't, you'd live with it, but you would just sit with that record for at least a few weeks,
Oh, yeah.
and you would remember everything about it. And that's not as prevalent anymore, because I don't have Spotify, but if you have Spotify, you can go and get everything.
Yeah.
And play for 30 seconds or play for a minute and then skip to something else. So
Pandora, same way.
yeah. So I don't know if that allows you time to really fall in love with something that you hear.
Well, a lot of people who I speak with, from, people who are in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame to the local bands, all tell me the same thing. Yeah, we're putting out an EP because people's attention span is just not there. I personally, I have an issue with that.
Yeah.
I think if you've got enough good music to fill, I don't want to see these 13 and 14 track discs. I think that's kind of, narrow it
So
down.
you don't like double albums then?
Well, you know what? If it's physical graffiti, yes, I like
Okay,
double albums.
all
All right. But if you're talking about 11, 12, 13, 14 original tunes that range from 237 to 358 long, maybe it's a money thing, or I had enough money, I just want to get them all out there. Okay. But I'd rather see you take your best
Yeah.
8 or 9 tunes, maybe 10 tops, and go with it. Take that difficult decision and run with it.
Yeah.
Then take the other ones and start to work on your next album.
Sure.
Because people don't do concept albums anymore, for the most part. They just want to get 3 or 4 tunes out. It cracks me up now. They have these big CD release parties for 3 songs? Give me something.
Yeah. We just did one. It was actually a private listening party for the record coming out, and I actually got a planetarium to build a custom light show,
Nice.
kind of like Laser Floyd, and they did it. It was
I've actually seen that, by the way. Laser
Yeah.
Floyd.
It's good. It's something. I'll tell you that. It's
Yeah.
something. But it was a lot of fun, and they did. It was Raritan Valley Community College did it for me. So
No kidding. Good
yeah.
for you.
They did a great job. But yeah, seeing it that way and having it in an event. I mean, Jim was there. It's pretty awesome.
I imagine it would be. That's
Yeah.
a great idea.
Well, yeah, I get them occasionally.
Sorry. So, I know I asked you earlier about this, about how you write your music.
Mm-hmm.
For me, there was one event that literally changed my life, and that's when I got Led Zeppelin 4 for a birthday gift. I was 12.
Sure.
now that you write, has there been an event like that, or what was your watershed moment that's led you to this point?
It wasn't. I had the same moment when I was probably around 13 or maybe 12 with Abbey Road and the Counting Crows, August and Everything After.
Oh wow, okay.
I had two uncles, and they each gave me. It must have been for a birthday or for Christmas. One of my birthday's in November, so it was around that time period.
Okay.
And I just heard these records, and I was like, oh my goodness, like I want to be able to do this. So that was my kind of watershed moment where it just,
yep.
yeah, like, and I still have those records. I actually just went on, Brian has a podcast called, with Bill Lambusta called the Great Albums Podcast, and they do a great job. And Brian's. It's kind of like Johnny Carson and Ed McMahon. When I was on it with doing Counting Crows, talking about it. Bill is kind of like Johnny Carson. Brian's kind of like that. The Ed McMahon type guy. So they have a really good rapport. But yeah, Counting Crows was one of those records for me.
Nice, very nice. How about you, Jen?
I was thinking of an answer for that question while you were talking, and I think it started when I was like 2 years old. I got a copy of Back in the High Life by Steve Winwood.
Oh,
I was
yeah.
obsessed with that record. I had it on all formats.
That was
as a
actually the
kid,
very first
and-
CD I ever owned.
Yeah,
CD.
and I was 2 years old, and like I would just throw fits if it wasn't being played, and yeah, it just always.
It's actually a good disc.
Yeah, it's
a good
great.
album.
So, I mean, that for me right there, I mean, I don't know, just kind of accumulated momentum from there, just music. I don't really have any other transferable skills to add onto a resume. Mostly
need
just
them.
lied.
Well, you have a day job. We already established
Mostly
that.
lied my way into the door.
It's to be able to play music for a living. People complain it's a lot of work. Don't think it's so easy. That, you know what? Give me that over having to punch a clock.
Yeah,
Sure.
There may not be like a touring act. They might only do a 2-hour show 5 nights out of 7 a week or whatever,
Mhm.
or 6 nights out of 7, 4 nights out of 7. They tour, but all that downtime in between is when they have to spend giving the interviews and
Sure.
doing the marketing and laundry. Try
Yeah.
living out of a suitcase for.
It's rough.
I mean, granted, like you're saying it's rough, and people at home are like, "Oh, give me a break."
Yeah.
But the point is that you're away from your family, and you have to sink or swim. You don't sell music.
Right.
There's a lot of pressure there. You have to keep writing stuff that the masses want to hear.
Yeah. I guess when you reach a certain level, then it starts to, being away from your family is no matter how big you get, is still difficult. But, being able to stay in a nice hotel, that's great. But, like, for the vast majority of bands, you're touring in a van, and either you're couch surfing or you're staying, for us, we stayed at a lot of churches. And the first time out, I didn't bring a sleeping. I brought a sleeping bag, but I didn't bring a mattress, like an air mattress or anything.
Right.
So, Jim actually slept in
I slept in a
janitor's
broom closet, in a
Um,
supply closet.
Yeah, and it was just on hard concrete, or wood or whatever.
And we were thankful.
Yeah, we were.
We appreciated that concrete.
But yeah, like you're out there and your body gets wrecked.
Well, you're talking about Green Day and all
Yeah.
that stuff. Green Day, first of all, I could care less if I'd ever seen them. Not that I disliked them, but wasn't one of my
Just wasn't
priorities
your
in
thing.
life. And when I became a writer for various online music mags, one of my first assignments from the One magazine was to cover Green Day at Temple University.
Wow. What year was that?
Oh God, probably 2010.
Okay, so it was after they
Yeah, 2009, 2010. Billy Joe had just come out of rehab.
Okay.
Okay, so I jump on a train in West Trenton,
R3, right?
and take that right into Temple University. Get out, walk the 3 blocks down and 1 block up.
Yeah.
And I get there, and there's like, I'd never done this before, so I'm like, where the heck's the will call? And you go to will call. Oh, everything's inside. Well, you can't get inside unless you have a ticket.
Huh.
So it was like this big disaster, right? And I get there, and I got primo seats, and I'm thinking, okay, the night just got a lot better. And they put on a phenomenal show. Green Day did.
Yeah.
They rocked that place from start to finish. They were personable. They weren't, you know, you would think they were overpowering. They weren't even that loud.
Yeah.
But they were fantastic. And, you know, we walk out, and everybody's leaving the theater. I stayed in my seat. I said, I'm not leaving here. House lights are up.
Yeah.
Everybody's leaving. And I'm sitting there, and I'm sitting there. I said, I'm not leaving. Sure enough, they came out. Two of them came out with an acoustic guitar, and they played Good Riddance.
Wow.
You never saw the place. Everybody came rushing back in. Half the people were already out on the street.
Too late.
They came, too late for them, but they came rushing back in, and it was classic.
Wow.
You know, and it's like he sang to maybe a third of the people that were actually there, but everybody loved it. And they went crazy.
I think the cool thing about them is like as a kid growing up and listening to music, your dream or one of your dreams is to go on stage with your favorite band and play with them. And the Who did that, you know, out of necessity. You know, when Keith Moon, you're right, when Keith Moon passed out, and was, but to have a band, the Green Day is doing that now, where they pull people up, and I think that's fantastic.
Yeah, did you see that kid?
Yeah,
they had that kid. Yeah, well, Green Day though is one of the bands that played at City Gardens.
Sure.
When that club was open. Now, have you been to the Man Cave yet?
Yeah.
See Randy?
Randy,
right?
yeah.
Now, Randy's a buddy of mine. And you ask him next time you go in there, say, just out of the blue, say, Randy, Danny Coleman told me to ask you, who slept on your couch? The guys from Green Day, Nirvana, the Ramones, they have all like crashed at Randy's house, which is, you know, only down the street from the Man Cave. And it's just amazing the talent that he brought into that place.
Yeah.
So, you know, if you had, what is your main goal? What is your main goal to do with your music, Frank? Well, what's the name of this new CD that's coming out?
The new CD is called Analog Mindbender.
Okay, you mentioned that already.
Yeah, and there's a self-titled track on there too. But
I'm making you repeat it. Marketing.
The goal is really to get people to hear the music, and it's not to become famous, and it's not to sell 1 million copies, because I'm not delusional. I know that doesn't happen.
Now, why are you putting yourself behind the 8 ball?
Yeah, you know, if people want it, then that's great. But
why are you not sitting here saying the goal is to make $1 million
right.
and become famous?
You
so
should
I
all
can
go
sit
out
around
and buy
pool?
the record.
That's right. I mean,
no.
why else would you do it?
Right.
If that's the case, don't even make the record. Sit in your bedroom and play on your bed.
Unfortunately,
Get that patio show going.
Most musicians, they just need to. It just comes out of them. So this, for me, is the best way to have it come out, and I have something tangible. It's kind of like an experience. I mean, I think you can record at home, and that's great, and I've done it. But you go to a recording studio for an experience, and to meet people, and there's, I don't know, that's priceless. You know, whatever amount that you pay for the studio, it's worth it.
Yeah, because now you've got yourself. I've still got the recordings I did the very first time I ever went in the studio. I was 15 years old.
Wow.
You know, I had them transferred to CD.
Yeah.
A while back because, you know, cassette tapes, if they sit too long, they start to, you know, the magnetism.
They start to
on the tape. But
Yeah.
I mean, you know, I always laugh when people say my goal is not to be famous, my goal is not to be rich. Well, then why are you wasting your time on a disc? You know what? Get it out there.
Yeah, it's
Play.
great to go out there, but if it doesn't, I still would be happy with it because I like the music, and that's really, if I like it, and somebody else likes it, that's great. But
nowadays, it's much easier to get your music into film and television
Oh, yeah.
than it was, you know, 15 years ago.
Sure.
You know, Keith Minaccio used to tell me all the time. I used to sit there with a pen and paper and watch the credits at high speed roll by, trying to get the name of the music director so I could write a letter.
See if you could get in there.
You know, and see if I get in. But
yeah, no, they've definitely kind of taken that and exposed a lot of great music through film and through
film,
TV.
right. And thank Ally
And
McBeal
commercials,
for
yeah.
that. She was
Yeah,
the
it's
first one put Vonda Shepherd on there.
That's true.
You know, and well, you know what? I'm going to talk about Monmouth music.
Okay.
And you guys are going to get ready to jam a little bit.
All right.
Play a couple songs. Matt, how many are they getting today? 2, 3, 10?
What?
How many tunes are they playing?
3.
3.
All right.
3 is the number.
3 is the number.
3 is the number. So, I'm going to go over here and do that with my man Nash. Nash, I'm not used to you being behind me, man. Tom, I never see, but you, you know. That's right. Well, we're going to talk about Monmouth Music right here in Red Bank, New Jersey. Established in 1987, Monmouth Music is located in the center of historic Red Bank. Voted the 3rd best town in the United States by Smithsonian Magazine. Located within walking distance of the famed Count Basie Theater, Red Bank train station, and many fine eateries, Monmouth Music continues the tradition of being a destination store for all levels of musicians, both beginner through professional. The new owner, Mario Di Bartolo, is a lifelong musician, and he offers a wide selection of brand name instruments at everyday low prices. Both new and used, with personal, professional, and expert service only a family-owned and operated store can provide. Does the neck on your guitar or banjo need repairing? Do the valves on your saxophone need to be refitted? Regardless of what day it is, bring your instrument to Monmouth Music for quality repairs. You'll enjoy prompt service from a team of repairmen who are always available. And I want to thank Mario very much, once again, for allowing us to invade his store every Monday to bring you One More with Danny Coleman. And again, if there's anything you want to see or anything you want to hear on this program, let us know. dcoleman.drice@gmail.com. That's dcoleman.drice, D-R-I-C-E, @gmail.com. Or you can email our producer, director, and big guy at Carousel Arts. Yes, you. Drice Productions @gmail.com. Drice Productions @gmail.com. Or if you know anybody who would make a good guest, email me there as well. All right. Are you gentlemen ready?
I think we're all set.
All right. Tonight my guest was Frank Lettieri with James Harold, and here they are.
Crawling out of my skin, I got Jesus on the line. Got shit tearing at me, and it won't leave me alone. Out of time, I lost my mind. See, you left 10 years ago. Shimmy, shake, parade takes my fear away. Paranoid Mayday.
So I'm just gonna change guitars real quick.
Do it slowly.
Slowly.
Yes, no one should hurt yourself.
I'll try not to. All right. Yep. 1, 2, 3, 4.
She's sitting warm, and she's sitting near porcelain, self-esteem. She dreams alone, and she hides beneath the chaos and rage, agony, and if I could, God knows I would take away all your pain and place it on me. He thinks she's done, and she agrees. Fairy tale, catastrophe, and if I could, God knows I would take away all your pain and place it on me.
Thank you. We got time for one more?
One more.
All right. Thank you guys for joining us. The song's called My Dear.
misery right here. Wanna waste away right here. Wanna stay, wanna lay right here. Can't let you go, can't bear to know, my dear. Can't hear a sound, no peace to be found right here. Collapse from atrophy and a weakened memory, my dear. Hold me close till my eyes close, my dear. Gentle whispers of sound, and everything falls once again.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, Danny. Thanks to our crew here, too.
I'll grab this mic since you're considerably taller than me. Matt, what camera? That's what I was trying to ask you. That camera or this one? Who are we talking? Pick one. All right, I'll look at you because that way we get all of us here. Dust of Days. Frank Lettieri, James Harold. Thank you all for tuning in tonight here on One More with Danny Coleman. And we'll be back next Monday night with who? Do we know, Matt?
The Afraid Brigade.
The Afraid Brigade. Right here on One More with Danny Coleman. So, again, websites and the...
Website, dustofdays.com. And the album is called Analog Mindbender. It'll be out August 4th.
August 4th. It's my parents' wedding anniversary.
Is it?
August 4th. See that?
That's
Things
cool.
are born on that day.
Absolutely.
And see, they're still together. So it's been like,
So-
40, 50, 60, 75.
That's pretty awesome.
But, again, next Monday, the Afraid Brigade right here on Carousel Arts YouTube on One More with Danny Coleman. So come back next week. We'll have one more. Good night.